was cool in times past is not what's cool today.
Cool sword. Cool sword.
You guys are nerds.
The standards of cool are constantly changing. If this didn't happen, even the slowest of learners would eventually become cool. This would eliminate the adaptive advantage of being cool. Thus, by its definition, cool must change. Take, for example, eyewear. Here is your average cool person from the 16th century. Notice the lack of ocular adornment. I mean, technically he's not wearing any clothes, but let's assume that he's fully clothed because there have been relatively few cool nudists. Think of any cool figure from the 16th century. Galileo, Michelangelo, Queen Elizabeth. The only thing that they all have in common is a universal lack of eyewear. Contrast this with the 17th century. In the 17th century, it became popular to cover one eye using an eye patch. This was, of course, popularized by the piracy movement. It's no surprise that pirates were considered as cool, seeing as they combined various cool archetypes into one form.
Surfer plus biker minus law-abiding citizen equals pirate. Cool plus cool minus uncool equals crazy cool.
In the 18th century, they decided that transparent was the new black, and a clear lens replaced the black eye patch. Monocles became all the rage. This is Mallory, cool in the 17th century. Now Mallory would have been cool in the 18th century. By the end of the 18th century, the uncool people had saved up enough money that they too could own monocles. The cool adapted by wearing two monocles at once, calling it the bimonocle, eventually switching the name to glasses for convenience sake. This remained popular throughout the 19th century, primarily due to Benjamin Franklin, who was the coolest of the founding fathers, and his invention of the bifocals. By the 20th century, glasses were for nerds. Cool people avoided reading like the plague in order to keep from wearing out their eyes. But in the early 20th century, Jack Nicholson popularized sunglasses as the new form of cool. These remained popular throughout the 20th century and are now in some decline. For the 21st century, you have to keep your eyes on the newest in eyewear trends to know what will make you cool. Which of these is the coolest? Eye patches, monocles, sunglasses, or eyeglasses?
Sunglasses.
Any reason?
Because they block the sun out of your eyes.
It's true.
Then I guess if you...
So do eye patches.
That's true. But then you look like a pirate. So I guess it depends on what you're going for, why you want to look cool.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever wake up and decide you want to go for the pirate look that day?
No, I've never worn an eye patch before.
I have one if you'd like to wear one.
Really?
Eye patch, sunglasses, normal glasses, monocle.
Care to give any reasoning behind this, or should it be obvious to the rest of us?
I'm gonna go monocles, sunglasses, glasses, eye patches.
Any explanation for that?
Well, I mean, the monocle is just so rare that I think it kind of adds a level of surprise. But the eye patch just implies a dysfunction. So.
Guess who owns an eye patch?
I happen to have this at the side of my bed.
And we should draw the conclusion.
I went to Bountiful High. I am from Bountiful. I am what you tell me. I am. Yes, it's cool.
I really,
Bryce
Bryce is who I
does.
thought of, but I thought, I don't want to say Bryce.
Yeah, he does.
I'm gonna rank eye patch the lowest because that probably shows some kind of mental deficiency that got you into a situation where you needed an eye patch.
Mm-hmm.
Monocles, I'll rank second lowest because that's just an overachievement of trying to be cool.
Eyeglasses.
Because?
Gives you kind of a whole new look.
As does a monocle.
But I can't get a monocle to stay on my eye. But I can wear every other thing.
Yeah.
And I know when I wear my glasses I look smarter. It's a fact. People
That's
take
true.
me more seriously.
It's true. I think you would find that if you could wear a monocle, your coolness would skyrocket.
My sources tell me that monocles are coming back in, so I would have to put that in the first position. Next time you see me, actually, Chris, I will be wearing a monocle. And as a trendsetter, usually at church or everywhere else, wherever I go, there will be monocles. So you can expect to see a very, very influx of monocles, a very big influx of monocles, pardon me.
In a big way.
I think second would have to be eye patches. A definite eye patch that people are crazy about. Pirates of the Caribbean. Apparently, Captain Jack Sparrow is a hip character. He never wore an eye patch, but he could have, and I think that says volumes. He could have.
Pretty sure he had some in his closet. We just didn't see him long enough to get to that accessory.
Precisely.
Who would you say is the coolest of the founding fathers?
Thomas Jefferson.
Any reasons for that?
Because he's a cool guy. You should read his biography.
I should? I have not.
You should.
John Hancock, because he does that flying move like across the desk and just signs his name.
Do you have any reasons behind Washington, or just does his answer seem obvious to you?
Well, I mean, the answer is obvious, but anyone that has dentures, had dental needs back then, is obviously an important player in history.
Yeah, the wooden dentures.
That's right.
Only way to go. When my teeth are gone, wood is what I'm doing. Mahogany.
I'll make them for you.
Not cool. He had wooden teeth. That's gross.
That was Jeremy's reason for why he was cool.
And that makes Jeremy uncool in my book.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's an easy one. Benjamin Franklin. I mean, he did invent electricity and kites and keys.
And think where we would be today
without kites and keys.
Kites and keys and electricity, not so much. I mean, the Amish go without it, but they don't have keys. Everyone uses keys.
I'm personally frightened of it. I have been electrocuted on 17 occasions, and I don't think it's useful, to be honest, if it's that much of a danger.
Not only did he discover lightning, but he kind of got around.
He did. According to the ladies.
Did Ben Franklin have a monocle?
He had bifocals, because he invented bifocals.
Oh.
And he had syphilis.
He did?
Yeah. Because he was a kind of a whore.
John Hancock got any STDs?
Cool may be constantly evolving, but it's also following some very set cycles. For instance, the tight pants cycle.
We are currently in a tight pants period. Had you seen a man wearing women's jeans in 1995, you would have definitely marked him as uncool. However, today it is totally acceptable. In the 90s, the baggier the pants, the better. The 80s returned us to the tight pants, particularly jeans. In the 70s, we returned to the baggy pants with the bell bottom. Tight was cool in the 60s, and so on and so on.
Not only can we analyze those decades that we're familiar with, but we can learn more about fashion in those decades that we know less about.
That's right. From this data, we can extrapolate the appropriate tightness of pants from any time period. We can safely assume that a cool teenager in 1720s was wearing tight pants, and that when the world ends in 2012, all the hip Mayans will be wearing baggy pants.
The cycle does have its limitations. It really only applies to males, since women always look good in tight pants. It also has geographic limitations, since Europeans always wear tight pants and are never cool. If there was a mathematical equation relating coolness to the tightness of your pants, what would it be?
If there were a mathematical equation relating coolness to the tightness of your pants?
Yeah.
For a guy or for a girl?
For both.
For someone who is a stripper or?
Non-strippers.
Non-strippers.
I don't think there's any chemical or mathematical equation that has to do with that. I don't think how tight your pants are makes you cool.
I personally think that, I mean, it's a,
Don't ask him.
it's a parabola. So that way, like, if your pants are, like, way super baggy loose, you're down at the bottom.
It's a bell curve.
But if they're, it's a bell curve. But if they're super tight, you're also down at the bottom. It's a healthy medium.
And maybe it just depends on, like, what
sort of
generation we're in, what decade we're in, because tighter pants might be cooler in a different
the bell
decade.
curve can shift, I guess.
You know, it would probably be one of those multi-part equations where between up to a point it's defined by one equation, which really too tight of pants preclude any amount of coolness. And then there's a point where you know, it's fairly level. And then you would have a closed dot, and then an open dot at another part of the graph, and then again.
I'm not very good at math, but I would say there's a high correlation.
Between those two?
Between those two, yeah, definitely. Tighter pants, more cool.
Inverse, definitely.